Hello, everyone. It's Vani, and I am so excited to start back the Positivity Voice live streams. The Positivity Voice was a sector of my service initiative, EASE. This is a program that I established back in 2020 during the pandemic. EASE was formed in 2018, really talking about service and volunteerism. And the Positivity Voice was established to be able to bring positivity, especially during the pandemic when we needed a little extra joy. And so I'm excited to bring it back this holiday season for everyone to have a little bit of joy in their lives and get to hear from some inspiring speakers. I'm very excited about today's guest speaker. I met her a few weeks ago at the I Am convention, and she is so amazing, and I can't wait for everyone to see how amazing she is. I'm sure you will after this live stream. So very excited about that. But before we get into it, I have a fun little activity. We are going to be making some holiday cards. So those who are, joining in, tuning in from home, thank you so much for joining. Today, we're going to be making a little bit of holiday, anything inspired cards. So grab some paper, grab some markers, and we'll do it together. We will talk about it at the end. I would love to hear what you guys have been able to make. I have already a vision, but I'm going to keep that a surprise until, we get started. But very excited about doing this holiday themed live stream. I hope everybody has been having a great season. I know, the festivities are approaching, so excited about that. Yay, awesome. I see that our guest speaker has joined. Let's see. Hi, Carol.
Hey, hi, Vani.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Just finished up finals this week, so
Yeah.
it's been a nice relaxing week
Yeah.
since then. What have you been up to?
Well, nothing much. I have been trying to get settled in since, we got back from Orlando.
Yes.
So I stuff, and then I also had a live with one of my sister queens, the Miss Texas.
Yeah.
We also talked about, my platform and her success story and all that stuff. So that was fun.
That's awesome. I love it. I know I tuned in for a little bit of it. It was really cool.
Yeah, I
love that. Yes, yes. Did you cut your hair?
Yes, I did. I gave it a big chop.
Oh my gosh. How do you like it? How do you feel? Do you feel like the long hair, the short hair?
I don't know.
What do you like better?
Try something new. I did ask the stylist. I was like cut it up to my shoulder, and then when she gave the big chop, I was like, okay, well, I mean that I will try to get used to it. A lot of people like how it looks. I thought a lot of people I look like Dora because my mom told me we were making jokes about it. It was hilarious.
Oh,
but I love it. It's a new look.
Yes, it's so cute. I love it. And I don't think, even if they say Dora's iconic. I don't see it, but Dora's iconic. So I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know when I think I cut my hair earlier this year, and I was like, I just want it to grow back so bad.
Yeah.
But in the initial stages, I was like, I love it, And now I'm thinking when it's grown out a little bit more, I'm like, I want to cut my hair again.
No, for sure.
I love that. Oh my gosh. So I guess we'll kind of get started. We have a couple people joining, and I'm sure they'll trickle in throughout.
Okay, perfect.
But I love we're kind of matching the red. I love it. Definitely festive, and we have Santa joining us.
Oh, that's
of course.
Nice. That's good. We love that.
Yes, for sure. So before we talk about, your platform, different things, I would love for you to introduce yourself a little bit, about where you're from and just some fun facts about yourself.
Okay, fun. So I'm Karol Guzman. I am the International United Miss Texas Teen 2024-2025. I've been doing pageants for less than a year. I started in June or July.
Wow, okay.
Fun. So that's kind of been a roller coaster starting on, but I'm getting the hang of what it is. So I love that. And then I'm also currently doing an internship with my local police department. So I'm learning a lot of things with the detectives, and I'm hands-on in the labs, and that is super fun. I love it. I'm going into the University of Mary Hardin Baylor next fall. So I'm excited. I will be studying international relations and affairs because I want to go into the FBI. So I am super passionate about going into that further on and pursuing my career and all that fun stuff. I actually graduated high school at the age of 15. So that is how my platform came along. I actually, it took me a little bit, it probably took me like a week to try to brainstorm how I could make a platform and what I can make it about, because I necessarily didn't want to make it about
Mm-hmm.
education, because, a lot of people are successful and they didn't even go to
Right.
college. They didn't even go to, so I just didn't want to make it about education. So, brainstorming and try to think of what I could make my platform about, I decided to call it Let's Spark Inspiration, because I feel like everybody's success story is a spark, because it inspires anybody and everybody. So whenever I created my platform, I decided to put my story out there, because success for me was graduating at that age, and I am super proud of myself and for the things that I have accomplished. So for me, that is one of my biggest success stories as of right now. And also, sharing other people's stories, because I think whenever I got back from Orlando, I start sharing some of the Sister Queens stories, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to try to get at least 10 stories before the year ended, but it wasn't possible. But if I at least get at least 5 or 6, that's a big accomplishment for me, because I'm just starting my platform out. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me, and that's how I started my platform. Graduating at the age of 15, that's crazy.
Yes.
Whenever I tell, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you graduated at that age." And I'm like, it was a fun roller coaster. I was homeschooled, so it was just super different, from going to actual school and face to face in person. So I really didn't get to interact with a lot of people, but it was okay. I did learn a lot, and it's gonna set me up for the long term. So yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a lot. You were so accomplished, and I think that is so cool. Like when I heard that for the first time, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" At 15, because you hear people, graduating like early, a year early, but at 15 is so amazing. So, can you
Yeah.
talk more about that? Like, how was that like? And also, like the gap between those years, and then also attending college. Like, how has that been like? What has been the best part since then?
So I feel like it was a little bit discouraging whenever I went into homeschool. I finished homeschool in a year. I try to work myself up there so I can finish it early. It was a little bit discouraging, like I said at the beginning, because I was just in a room, four walls, and a closed
Right. Yeah.
focus, and it was pretty hard, because I really didn't interact with nobody. The friends for I basically went ghost, because no one knew where I went, because I just got off of middle school and then went straight into homeschool. So it was hard because I didn't have any friends, but I then started to realize that it actually helped me a lot, and I started to think that maybe it was for a good reason, going into homeschool. Like, you never know where things could take you at some point. So I feel like it was good for me, because I really did learn a lot about myself. I continued to discover my abilities and what I wanted to become, because I feel like going into high school, you always have that thought of what are you going to be whenever you grow up, because after that it's you go straight into college.
Yeah.
And I really did think about that. At the beginning I was going to do nursing,
Mm.
and then at the end of the day I went into wanting to go into the FBI, so that took a big turn. So I really did discovered a lot about myself, and I feel like a lot of people, whenever they go into
Mhm.
homeschool, they get discouraged of themselves a lot, and
Yeah.
accomplish this? How am I going to finish this? But at the end of the day, it's very good, because you discover a lot of good things about yourself that you did not know.
For sure. And I think it's also too about discipline. Like
Yeah.
I remember like during the pandemic, it was like we all were kind of locked down. Like there was literally
Yeah. It was.
nothing in person.
Mhm.
So it was, fully virtual. And in a way, like I've never been homeschooled, but I felt like it was,
It was like
because you could talk to people. It was almost like that. And a lot of people were like, oh yeah, like you're not going to be able to do it. But I honestly, I feel like I enjoyed it. It
yeah.
was a unique experience. Like you could work almost at your own pace. I mean, we still attended like classes on Zoom and stuff,
Hmm.
but it was very unique. So,
It was.
just getting to discipline yourself to work and to continuously improve. I think that is so amazing that you've been able to do. Like that is so
It,
inspiring to do at
it
such a
is.
young age. So, yeah, thank you so much for
No,
sharing that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I hope it can inspire somebody out there. Because right after I finished high school, I went straight into college. I
Yeah.
went blind and it was completely different for me because I really did not get to experience a lot of things. But
Yeah.
I'm experiencing my little high school moment in college, even though it's not the same, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of it, So yeah, I hope it can inspire some people to not get discouraged. It's going to be good at the end of the day, and you're going to accomplish so many things, even though at the beginning it may seem like you're not, and this is like, what am I going to do, But
Yeah.
it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and talk about that transition from nursing to FBI. I feel like those are polar opposites.
Gosh, it is literally. So I went into college and I was like, okay, well, I want to go into nursing, do all that. I took my prerequisites
Mhm.
and it was a little bit hard going into my prereqs just because the classes were my words rambled. The classes were very overwhelming for me at some point. So I didn't like how my grades were. I was just not happy with it and for the outcome that was coming in. So um, I decided to take a break. I decided to take a fall break, and um, I was going into pageants, and I decided, okay, well, I need to do some community service. And I went into my local police department, and um, one of the firefighters took me to the chief of my local police department, and me and him started talking. And I was like, well, I'm actually interested also in, all that stuff of forensics and also the FBI. For me, that was so cool. Since I was little, I always loved the movies
Mhm.
of like them catching the criminal and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So that was also all so interesting for me all the time. And me and him started talking. It actually took me like a couple months and a couple weeks to get into the labs and to get all of that because it was a big process.
For sure.
Taking my semester break and also thinking about what I want to become, who I want to impact in my world and in my community. And for me, that was very important because whenever I went into pageants, a lot of these girls, they go a lot into their community. So, going into the internship, I really did connect with a lot of people in my community. So that really did impact me so much that I was like, I want to make a difference. I want to keep my community safe. And well, I started doing some appearances, and then I started talking to a lot of the detectives. And
Mhm.
at the end of the day, that's where my career is going to take off to the FBI. Hopefully, try to do an internship next year, upcoming like in the summer. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a big turn, but I feel like it's completely okay because even though I feel like I didn't really waste a lot of my college time, but it was preparing me and it was helping me, to think of what I do want to become later on. So it was a big jump to
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, there's a lot of times that those things happen, but they all work out in the end.
It does.
And, even if you think like, why is this happening? Like, why
Yeah,
can't I just, choose something and go with it?
literally.
It is a big decision because it's something that you're going to be doing for
Yeah,
the rest of your life.
it was.
So, for sure.
Was for sure. You know, I was doing like I think I'm going into well, like I'm gonna start a new career. I'm obviously gonna go into freshman, but if I was going to keep doing nursing, I would be like a sophomore by now. And I was
Yeah.
like, I in my mind, I'm like, did I waste time or did I not? But then I realized, no, you didn't. It helped you a lot,
Yeah.
and it was very helpful. So yeah,
For sure. And also, graduating early gives a little
yeah,
bit of a boost. You're able to explore a few
for
more things than, you wouldn't be able to at that time. But
no,
everybody's timeline looks different. And,
yeah,
like I said, it works out in the end. So I'm glad you found something that you
yeah,
really love and are
yeah,
passionate about.
yeah.
That's what it's all about, I feel like,
No,
at
yeah,
the end of the day.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm so happy.
Have you watched, yes, have you watched Carry On yet on Netflix?
I'm not sure. There's been a lot of movies that have been coming out. I haven't really been
Yes.
much.
I think you would really enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I actually been on Disney Plus because of all the Christmas movies, trying to
Yes.
watch Home Alone. My comfort.
Oh,
I love it.
I love that. Yeah, I know. This is the season for all the movies. Like
Yeah.
I've been like trying to find ones that I haven't seen and all these like comedy and things like that. So,
Fun.
yes, but Carry On, it just came out. I think like maybe last week,
Mhm.
and it's like a really like detective, police. Like,
Ooh,
it's really interesting. It's like a very like mystery kind of movie. So definitely check it
yeah, I
out.
need
I think you would enjoy it.
to for
For sure.
sure.
And it happens around Christmas time, so they're kind of thinking that it's like a Christmas-ish movie, I've heard. But yeah, I watched it a few days ago, and like I was literally at the edge of my seat. I
Oh
kid
my.
you not. Yeah, I was like so stressed out But it was so good.
I
Like the ending, everything.
watch
It
it.
was
Yeah.
really good. For sure. And speaking of the holidays, do you have your cards ready? I told the
Okay, so
audience that they can create their cards as
I
well.
hard. I brought
Yes,
like firm.
same, same. I love it. And we can just create, whatever we want to and keep chatting. Um, I'm not the best drawer, but I always feel like,
Not
you know.
what I could draw about. I think my imagination ready and on.
Yes, truly. No, I feel like sometimes when we get older, like drawing and these things, like they start to be on like not the forefront. They're kind of like pushed back, and I miss doing these things. I feel like it was fun.
Yes, me too, because last time I was at the store, me and my mom and my sister, and we were just buying some Christmas stuff like that. And I actually came across, I don't know if you've seen those like scratchers that you scratch.
Yes, yes.
I got some of those and I literally finished it one night. And I was like, wow, this is so, it's therapeutic. I like it.
Yep.
It's
It truly is. I love thinking about things that like we used to do as kids, and then doing
yes.
it now. It's like a fully different
I
perception, but
miss it so much because I whenever I was in middle school, I can't talk about high school because that's another story. But whenever I was in middle school, it was so fun because we had our classes and to draw and all that stuff. It was just so, and then painting. Oh my gosh, I
oh my
miss
gosh,
that.
painting. Yeah. Yep.
And I
Those
feel like
were
there's a lot of oh my gosh, that would be like a great community service to go out there and just paint and just have a good time. Because
yes.
why, you know, try to
Yeah,
be
service
time.
service starts from within too. So it's almost like you're doing something for yourself as
Right,
well.
right. Okay, I actually do not have a pen. I have okay, okay. I have pens, markers. Ever since I went into homeschool, like I do not know nothing about crayons, markers, none of that. It's like
No, that's so real. I feel like everything is so like computer based and
mm-hmm.
digitized that
Yes,
we've
everything,
gotten so used to
everything
that.
are computers now. Let's.
For sure.
I don't know if it's just me, but my my sash falls a lot, and then whenever we're actually selling these like magnets, I lost one whenever I was in Disney. That was so sad.
Yeah, yeah. No, I remember, I feel like, sashes, they always like fall off, especially in the moments that you're like recording and you're like, I
Oh
get
yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
best take or something. You're like,
Yeah,
no.
literally. Like no, wait, give me 1 second. They
Yes,
fell.
I know.
So how?
So tell me more about, since you're talking about your sash, tell me more about your journey with IUM. Like, you were recently crowned a few months ago, maybe
Yeah,
summer-ish time?
September.
Okay.
Yeah.
September. Okay, cool. So how's that been like? And, what's been your favorite part?
So going into IUM was like I did not even know a lot about pageants, so I really did not know anything about organization until like
Yeah.
told me about it, and she was like, "This would be a great, perfect fit for you," and I was like, "Okay," because I told her I wanted to try other pageants. I want to get into the what the pageant world is and what it is all about, and she was like, well, there's a pageant coming up, and she was like, it's just a weekend, it's just one day, it was very close to me. It was like what I think like 10 minutes away from me,
Oh,
and she was
wow.
perfect fit, and I was like, okay. She was like, not a lot of girls compete, and unlike other pageants where a lot of girls compete, and I was like, well, that would be perfect for me because I feel like sometimes big pageants can be overwhelming at times,
Oh, yeah.
and feel like that was very nice for me to compete in it. So I went to go compete. I really did not go to win. I was like, I just want to see my scores, what I need to better myself in, and then boom, I ended up winning, which I was like so surprised. I till this day, I see my sash and my crown just being there, and I'm like, wow, like I did not think I would win that was like crazy to me. Like still to this day I'm like, am I really the international United Miss Texas team? Like that's crazy. I don't know.
No, that's amazing. Yeah. I feel like it's always, you just like never know when opportunities await you.
Right.
It's kind of like you just get put into something, but you realize that it's for a reason.
And
Um,
I feel like it's all in God's timing. Whenever He wants something for you, it's gonna
yeah.
be there at the perfect place. I really did want to win the other Mixtex title with another organization, but God knows why. I learned a lot from that organization, which I am so proud of myself, that I learned so much of them, and I'm happy for everything that came out. So that was so fun. Um, I feel like I'm gonna try to do. I think I'm gonna try to do like a gingerbread,
Okay.
little nails. Okay. I'm gonna show my a little bit.
So, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I love it. Oh my
No, like,
goodness.
I feel like this one is my favorite, probably because of the gingerbread.
Wow.
That's
Yes.
my favorite.
So
I
cute.
like.
Adorable. I love it. That is amazing. Yeah, no, I have like such short nails and I'm so scared to get acrylics because I feel like they're gonna like rip my nail off.
No, that's actually scary though too, because um, acrylics are kind of scary. Not gonna lie,
Yeah,
especially whenever you do things. Yeah, we have to be careful.
for sure. Yes, I'm doing a snowman because that's the easiest thing I know to draw.
I think
That'll turn out.
no. I think I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to do. I'm just gonna do a candy cane because
Yes, love it.
actually, yeah, we're gonna do a candy cane
Okay.
because that's fun.
Aaliyah said you're both so beautiful.
Oh,
Thank you, Aaliyah.
too.
That's so sweet.
Can't see all the.
Yes, you should also draw. We're doing Christmas cards or
Yeah,
holiday cards. So you should definitely, if you have some paper, join us.
fun time. I feel like when you start to draw, you just like zone out. I don't know if it's just me.
Real. I know, me too, me too.
I'm just like so concentrated.
Yes. I feel like I don't know, those like the color in I don't know what you call it. It's like in those coloring books, they have like these really I had one that was like really like vibrant and like extravagant. Like it was huge.
Yeah,
It was a big design and I could never like figure out how to make them like good because I would use these like different colors but it would end up just looking like a bunch of colors.
like a rainbow.
Yes, literally like a rainbow. So I love just doing like free drawings on things.
Yeah, for me, actually, like in the little scratcher I bought. Um,
Yes.
I think one free card that like you can like do whatever you want. And I messed up one of the cards because I'm that type of person. I know perfection's not gonna come anywhere and it's not easy, but
Oh yeah.
I'm a little perfectionist when it comes to my drawing. And I'm like, that is not cute. I don't like that. So like I'm like, no. And I threw it away and then I did another one and I'm like, oh, gosh. I kinda wanted to go back to the store and buy new ones,
I
but
know.
it's
I
not
know. It can be frustrating, but yeah, but it is also calming at the same time.
it
Like
is.
feel feel good. So can you tell me a little bit more about Let's Spark Inspiration? Like where did that spark and where did that come from?
So, like I say, I was like brainstorming for like,
Yes.
in a week. I think I made my platform, but I think brainstorming it was probably like a month that I was like brainstorming. But it came along. I was like, okay. I was like thinking of names. It was like, okay. It was kind of hard because I did not want to name the platform Success. Um,
Yes.
and something like fun. And I was like, okay, so I was brainstorming and I was sending some stuff to my coach and I was like, okay, well, that's kind of like a good question because now that I think about it, it's been what I made my platform like around in September whenever I was going to compete for IUM, and I was like, what can I name it? What can I name it? And then I was like, okay, it has to be something with spark because in stories that people are going to share, they have to spark that little inspiration. And I was like, and then I thought of the word inspiration because I was like, okay, well, I want to inspire others to find their success and find what they love and find what they're going to be doing on in their lives, and to know that age is not an obstacle, but it's what we set our minds to. So I was like, okay. And then I finally like made it. I was writing and I was putting words together and I was like, okay, let's, and then I put spark and then inspiration. And I was like, let's spark inspiration. And I was like, that's an amazing name. I would have never thought I would have come up with that because that's actually like such a, cute, cute.
Yeah, for sure. And you can tell exactly what it is in a way, and your purpose just
Yeah,
by the name, which I think is really cool.
yeah, for sure. That name, it was for me, every time I look at it, I'm like, it's like still inspires me till this day. And like seeing other people's stories, I feel like it doesn't matter the age that you are, you're always going to inspire someone, little or
For
big.
sure.
Does not age. And I feel like that's something that I was battling for a little bit because I was like, well, you know, because I actually, something of me, I was like, well, how are people going to look up to me if I'm just 15? We look at maturity and how the person is and how they think. And I was like, okay, well, I feel like it doesn't matter. Just them looking at my story and, seeing what I have done, I feel like that can inspire them in some type of way. Even though it's just a little bit, but I feel like it's something.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I feel like my platform is unique and
It is.
and because I've also seen your platform, and all that stuff, and I feel like everybody's platform is just so unique in their own way, even though we do tell the sort of the same story and what we want to get out there. But yeah, I love it, even though it just started like a couple months ago, but I
Yeah.
get it there.
I think everybody starts somewhere too. Like I remember when I started my platform, it was also like very random. Like I did not know what to
Yeah,
name. That's always the biggest thing. Like the name, you're
name,
like
the name,
the
all
name,
the I was literally
right?
searching the name for so many hours, and I was like, what can I name it? What can I name it? And I was like switching words, and I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. No, that's too long. No, I don't like that. Because you can't make it nor too short
For
nor
sure.
too, because if you make it too long, then it doesn't fit, and if you make it too short, it's just, like the
Yeah.
meaning, So I feel like that's like the part when it comes to like building a platform.
Yeah.
It's the name.
It's the name, and it's all about finding that balance of like, what you want people to know about it just by the name itself, and also like making sure that it's something that you feel connected to. So I definitely understand the struggle because it took many months and many hours of
Yes,
figuring out what is something that you want to keep for the rest of your life and
right.
to share the rest of your life for
Mm.
sure.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like that's one of the biggest things, but I feel like it could just comes along.
it does. It does. So how? Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, you talked a little bit about like success being one of the biggest things, especially, at even graduating
Yeah.
early. How do you feel like you define success beyond just an accomplishment?
So I feel like defining a success is not just of what you have accomplished, but what you're setting your goals to. I feel like that's one of the biggest things.
Hmm.
Um, but success means so much. And whenever I was, searching up the word success, I was like, well, whenever I searched success, what's it? But I feel like it can be more than that. It's the things that you face in your everyday life, because that's one of the hardest things. Sometimes people face so many things in their life and they're just like, well, I'm a failure, I'm this, that. But I feel like you have to know that you have done so much, and we sometimes don't realize that.
Yeah,
But that can be so many things. It can be lifting yourself up, the things that you're doing every day, getting 100 in your test, or passing all of your SATs, or whatever the case is. But those small little things is what success means, and it's just not an accomplishment. It doesn't mean that it has to be so big. It can be so little, and that can be so much. And I feel like we need to focus on sometimes on the little things and not just so much the big things, because the little things sometimes take us a long way.
yeah.
So I might not explain too good, but
No, that was really
yeah,
good. No, I feel that like, when we think of success, like it's such a big word.
yeah,
Like I remember like I would always think of it like it's just huge, like it's like unattainable kind of thing that it's like down the line when I have a job, like that's when success is,
that's
right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so, thinking about it, the way you said, I feel like these small moments, like these little things that happen in our life, like we celebrate that as it should be
Yes.
successes. And I think that's so important to say. So definitely, I definitely agree with that. I feel like it's
No,
so
yeah,
important
for
to look at the small things.
no,
Yeah.
yeah. I look at that word and I'm like, wow, it just means so much.
Yeah.
And I love my platform because I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, wow, this is what I'm doing.
Yes,
Success, that's just crazy. And it's good to also to remind ourselves of what we're doing and to be proud of ourselves, because I feel like a lot of people, I feel like this year has been a little bit hard because I feel like a lot of people have said, well, I didn't accomplish anything. You accomplished so much, even though you did not
right.
graduate from school, even though you did not graduate from college, or even though you did not get into the college that you
Sure.
wanted. But it's just the little things, and it's just so important to look at that. We can't bring ourselves down. Even though if we do for just a moment, we just have to pick ourselves back up and know that you can accomplish so much. And, we have to look at our strengths, because that's also very important. If you look at your strengths and, what you're good in, we have to find that. So I feel like whenever I went into homeschool and I finished high school in a year. So for me, that was so long for me. I
Yeah.
felt like that was like 4 years, but it was just one crazy. But just thinking, it's just like you can do so much, and I feel like we need to find our strengths, and we need to find what we're good in and what we're not. And if you're not good at this, it's fine, because there's so many other things in this world that you can find. We can also create things, because that's something very new, because a lot of people have creating a lot of things like new
For sure.
sports or something like that. Create something. This world is full of possibilities. So we can't just bring ourselves down for just one little thing whenever there's so much to do.
For
you know
sure. Yeah, and I feel like it's hard when you see other people, even like your age,
yeah,
you'll be like, they've already done this or they've already done that. And sometimes it can be disheartening
for
to know that, you might have not done exactly the same things. So what would you say is like the best advice for people who, get trapped in comparison or go through setbacks like that?
So I actually have compared myself to a lot of people,
For
and
sure.
I feel like it's been, I think about it a lot, but I have compared myself to some people through this year, last year. And I feel like going through your teen years, you do compare yourself to a lot of people.
Yeah,
But I feel like at the end of the day, I look at myself and I'm like, look what I have done. They have done different things, but look what I have done. Who have I impacted in my doings, my community? We have to look at that as well,
yeah,
because yeah, it doesn't matter what people have accomplished or how many things they have accomplished, but we have to look at who we have impacted in our everyday, in our surroundings, because I feel like that's very important, impacting the people around us. Even though you did not impact the whole world, but it's who we have around us. And I feel like that is super important, and that's what I have taught myself and still teach myself, because it's so hard not to compare yourself to people.
for
I look at my platform and I see the followings that I have, and I'm like, well, only 36 people follow me, and I'm like, and then I go and look at other people's, and I'm like, wow, well, 100 people follow them, and I get a little discouraged, because I'm like, wow, I wish I was that. And then I sometimes think, and I'm like, well, you just created your platform a couple months ago, so you need to relax a little bit.
right. Yes.
Now, you're still doing some stuff, and I feel like that's just one of the greatest things. Just see who you're impacting. Just know that you're just starting off, and sometimes whenever we start off, I feel like we just want to take the whole world, and we
Right.
want to take, but we have to go step by step, because if we do take the whole world in our hands and we take everything, I feel like we're just gonna fall apart, and I
For
feel like
sure.
we're not accomplish anything at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, a disheartening thing. That's, I feel like that's going to be one of the biggest disheartening things, that we tried to accomplish so much, but at the end of the day we didn't accomplish nothing, because we were looking at what people were doing and not focusing on our thing. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think also it can hit you at any point in your life. Like
for sure.
I know for me, like earlier this year, I think the anticipation of college
Right.
made me feel so like I had to compare myself in a way because, you got put into certain situations where you're like, maybe they have done something else. But one thing that, my mom always tells me is that, yeah, they've done this, but you have done all of this too, taking
Right.
that awareness
Yeah.
back to yourself and not letting yourself get down, like you said. I think that's
Right.
so important,
Yeah.
because it can just hit you out of nowhere, even if you feel like the most confident self.
Yeah.
And you get put into a certain situation or scenario, like your mind is so powerful that it might,
It is.
tell you things that are not true, that you
Yeah.
should not believe.
No, for sure. I feel like you said, our mind. I feel like our mind works so much, and we're
Yeah,
just it and sometimes it's tiring, not gonna lie. Whenever we go through that and we try to compare ourselves,
for
it's very.
sure.
And I feel like you try to rot, but then you remember, look what I've done. Like, just try,
Yeah,
and I feel like that's just one of the most important things to do. And gosh, I can say something that whenever I also went into college, I cried so many times whenever I did not do good in my test. And I'm like, how did I not do good in my test? And look how good these other people did. Like, how is that even possible? And then
yeah,
I think, um, well, you're at 15, girl, and you're just in college. Like, these people have so much more experience than you do. So we also look at the experience, who have more than you, and sometimes you don't have, but it's okay. I feel like we're all going to get one day, I feel like people can be 50 years old, and accomplish so much at that age. It's crazy.
for sure, for
So,
sure.
we have to also look at that. People they can be 13, 11, 7 years old, and look at the things that they have accomplished. So it's okay. Um, at my age, I've accomplished so much. So you can have an example there. It's okay if you didn't accomplish anything in your teen year lives, but it's what you're going to be accomplishing on throughout your life and who you're
For
going
sure.
to be acting. So that's something that I have set my mind to, even though sometimes I'm like down and I'm like, well, Karol, come on, girl, pick
Yeah,
yourself back
yeah.
doing.
I know. And it's never too late to start something.
No,
Like that's, something I tell myself a lot too is like you have to take that step back, like know the things that you've been able to accomplish already, but also know that you can start new things at any point in your life. It's not just like you have to know everything by now and you're done, that kind of thing.
and something I could say with pageantry, because whenever I went into pageantry, well, I didn't know nothing about it, and I went in and I went to state, and then I placed top 25, but I was so discouraged about myself. And I was like, well, I wanted to win, because that was my mindset throughout the whole weekend. I was like, I want to win, I want to win. And at the end of the day, whenever I didn't, I felt so discouraged. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know why I did this. And I feel like it messed a little bit with my confidence in a way.
Sure.
But I reminded myself, I'm like, well, girl, you don't know nothing about what pageantry is. I learned a lot even in that weekend, that it's not always about winning, but it's what you take with you from those 3 days or from that week. And it's not always about winning. And I feel like that's one of the things that is most important in pageantry. And also the girls that you meet along your way, because I met you and we were just just there, just hanging around. And
Yeah,
then
for sure.
we were talking, and then I was like, hey buddy, and you're like, hey girl, started talking, and it was hilarious. So I feel like it's the girls that you take with you, even though you don't take a sash and a crown. It can be discouraging a lot of times, and I feel like I've heard many stories of girls that say, well, I've been in most pageants, and the most pageants I've been to, I lost. But um it's okay. At the end of the day, I feel like pageantry is a sport. I feel like it's one of the most expensive sports there,
Truly. Yes.
because not everybody could, and you doing it says a lot about you, because if you're in pageant and you have a platform and you're doing so many things in your community, you have to look at that like that's amazing, because not a lot of girls do that, not a lot
Sure.
of people go in, to do that. And it's hard. You have to have some gut, going up to stage and talking to 100 people, and trying to say what you want. How would I say this? Who you want to impact out there in your community. It's kind of hard, because a lot of people are judgmental, and I feel like that's one of the things whenever you go into pageantry, you're scared about, because you're going to face yourself with girls, with even with older people that are going to judge you, and you have to remember that, hey, I'm here for a reason, because I want to impact. You can go and impact maybe 3 people. That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's a big
for
accomplishment.
sure.
sometimes I feel like we go into and we want to impact so many people, but
I
at the
know.
end of the day, don't even impact the people that we wanted to.
Right.
But it, and I feel like that's one of the things about pageantry is that you have to have some gut, because going in there and doing what you do, it's hard because not a lot of girls do that.
For
That's
sure.
something that we have to look at. So
Yeah, yeah. It is, it's a big deal getting to just go up on stage. And like you said, like everybody's there in every single situation, whether it's pageantry or, anything that you get placed in for a purpose, for a reason. You got there for a reason. And so that's definitely another way that you can take a step back and from that comparison and
no,
notice that,
or
how grateful it is to
just
experience something
be
like
there.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yes, and my last question, I know we're getting a little bit short on time, but I wanted to ask you, like, what is your message for the youth? This is something I ask everyone at the end of their lives, is because my platform is really based on youth empowerment. And so, what would you say is your biggest advice or message that you want to tell, especially for people who are younger?
So something I would say is, I feel like you hear all the time, but be you. I feel like if anybody goes to my Instagram, to my personal Instagrams, a quote that I have on there is, age does not define success. And that's something that I go very big on, is that age does not define your success. You can be whatever age, and it does not mean anything. You could be 50 years old, like I said, and you can accomplish so many things at that age. And I look at what I have done and I put it out there so much, because it does not matter your age. It does not matter what you're going through. It does not matter anything, but it matters who you're impacting and what your success has been throughout the years. And I feel like I put that a lot. And yes, sometimes it is going to be discouraging, but we have to remember who we have impacted and what we are doing now, because that is super important. We have to look at the now. We can't be looking at the back, at the back. We can't be looking at what we have done over there, but we have to,
Yes.
because I feel like that's one of the things that discourages a lot of youth, is looking at their past and what they have done back then. But we have to kind of, we forgot about that, but we have to look at our future and our present, because we have to start focusing on who we need to be impacting, because there's a lot of people that need help nowadays. And sometimes, even though we're going through some things, it's okay, because we need to be impacting other people as well. We have to focus on that stuff. And I feel like
Absolutely.
that's that I would encourage other people, be you, and just be successful, anything. It doesn't mean college, high school. It doesn't mean that it has to be education. It can be whatever you want, being in your community, a job, acting, modeling. That's just something so big, so just be you, go out there and, find your success, find what you want to do, find yourself, because I feel like that's one of the biggest things as well. Us youth, we lose who we are and what we want to, trying to find ourselves. So find yourself. Age does not define your success. And look a little bit at my platform, and if you would want to share your story, go ahead and send me a message. I would be it would be a pleasure for me to share your story, because that's something that is very big on my platform, sharing other people's stories. So if you want to share yours, go ahead and send me a DM, and tell me a little about who you are, your story, and I'll be so glad to share it out there so people can see what you have been doing.
Yes,
So
that's awesome. Thank you
that's
for sharing that. I think it's so important. Something that I advocate for is also age. I feel like even as we grow up, having started volunteering at a very young age, it's not a barrier to what you can do and what you can accomplish.
right.
So I think that's so amazing. And everyone, you should definitely check out her page. I've already read like all the stories that you've posted. It's amazing.
I'm
It's genuinely so inspiring to see so many different people from all over have such different experiences that still demonstrate success, and they've overcome so much. So
yeah.
that is so inspiring, and definitely check out her page if you haven't already. I want to see your drawing now. Maybe you
I did
aren't fully done,
my
but
talk more than
I love it. I love it. I think the vision was Merry Christmas, maybe.
it was Merry Christmas.
Merry
It was Merry,
Christmas. Okay, I love it.
candy.
I drew a
Oh my
snowman.
gosh,
Um,
so pretty.
I
I don't think
I don't think
I did not.
it's okay. I feel like, we always talk and we kind of lose sight of the drawing, and I was kind of getting off track too, but
It's okay.
I love it. I love it. You'll have to send me a picture after you're finished.
Right. I need to finish it right now.
I love it. Thank you so much,
Having
Karol, for joining. I'm sure everyone, thank you all so much for joining. Hopefully, everyone has a great holiday season and have seen how inspiring, excuse me, Karol is. She is so amazing, and I really appreciate you joining on and getting to share your story and your experiences. I know I feel inspired, and I hope you all found some inspiration, or it sparked some
yeah,
inspiration for you
yeah.
all as well. So thank you so much for joining. Happy holidays, everyone. And thank you again, Karol.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Bye.